Hi, welcome to Base Editing with Dacy. Today I wanted to take another look at building above and below your base because I feel like I left out some kind of important details or spread them out through other videos, so I wanted to put it all together. So we have here a new base, just brand shiny new. It's just a small editing room, and I wanted to show you kind of start to end what we do here. So first thing I'm going to need to do is upgrade the plot. Now I'm going to go with a really large plot because we want to make sure we're facing south. There it is. Because whenever you enter the base through the portal, you're always going to be facing south. So keep that in mind when you are designing. The reason I'm going with a massive secure complex here is because, I'm going to make it longer than it is wide, is because you can only build within the limits of the wall above and below. So I'm going to want the largest room as I can get to have the largest amount of space. If I build smaller than that, great, but the large one gives you more of a horizon, and it's just easier, and it's much easier to build in one room than over many different rooms. You can't place objects between rooms. They have to be anchored at least in some small bit of the room. So this is a 24 by 24 room or complex, and then the room I'm going to put on is 24 by 24. So that gives me one extra row with my little 2 square room here. There's 2 squares and a door makes 4 or 3, and so that's extra row is 4. So then I'm exiting here, going to edit base, create a room. I'm already in that. I'm going to go to huge, pick the largest room, and it will be red until you place it where it needs to be. So if it's off the plot at all, it'll be red. As soon as it's in the right place, it's blue. Left click and you place that. Now the room's automatically placed with this setting with 2 ceiling tiles and a floor. Whatever you do to one square, you can then do to the rest of the base. Apply it to the room or apply it to the base. Okay, now if I want to have an open sky, all I would need to do is go to Style over here on the left in the editing bar, go to my high ceilings and choose the open sky option, and I can also apply that to the base. Alright, so that would let me, while I'm in edit mode, and only if I'm in edit mode, fly out and edit wherever I want to. So, but now, what if I want to just build on top of the base? Because most people who want to build above the base just want to build on top of the base so they don't have any walls. So what we're going to need to do there is go back, get out of Style, go to Place Item so we can see all of these options. Fill that in, and then apply that to the room. Don't apply it to the base because you don't want your entry room to be all covered over. So now you have this, where you have, it's just like one big floor. In fact, you can take items and place them on the top of the base just like you would place on a floor. For instance, you might be thinking, well, how am I going to get out onto the top of the base now because my entry portal is in here? Well, hitting F3 is going to enable you to take things out of the bounds of the base. And so I'm going to just grab this with a left click of my mouse. I'm going to turn off the grid because I don't like the grid. And I'm going to just move that mouse anywhere because it's a floor, it'll place anywhere. So that's all you do, and then you let go of your mouse and it's placed. It's that easy. Now, when you have placed the entry portal outside of the base, whenever you come into the base, this is where you will come, to wherever you've put it. You will not come into the entry room. So you might be saying, okay, when I come into the base, it gives me this nice little window where I can edit the base and so forth here. What happens when I'm in the entry room, and how do I get to the portal if I'm out of editing and I want to get out of the base? Well, you type stuck, hit enter, and you're back at the portal. Okay, anytime you're stuck in the base, hit stuck, you'll be back at the entrance. But now you might be saying, but how am I going to edit because I only get the prompt when I'm in the room? Well, all you need to do is do slash Edit Base, space 1, and you're back in the editing mode. The second time you do it in a session, it'll bring you leave you right in the spot wherever you're at. Then you're going to need to reset your F keys. Like I said, I like to take the grid off unless I'm doing things where I need to line up the grid, and then make sure you enable room clipping, because otherwise you won't be able to place anything. Now you might notice it's a bit dark. This is because when you build outside of the base, you have to consider lighting, and I do a whole video on this. But if you're building outside of the base, you no longer have your colored lighting option that you have inside of the base. But you do have the ability to do lighting types. Indoor is your light sources, like you have indoors, a lamp and so forth. If you do this, you're going to have to light everything that you do outside of the base, which is possible. I've done it. It doesn't look quite as good as the outdoor skylighting, but you can have your light during both day and night cycles. Now, if you have your outdoor skylighting, as it gets dark, it's not nearly as bright as it is during the day. And when you're on the inside of you have a building where you have an inside and you have an outside, you're not going to be able to light up that building like you would in the night if you were in the real world. So it's just going to be a lot dimmer. So I just want you to know there's a trade-off when you're building above the base. Okay, so I have this nice big plot. Another disadvantage of being above the base is you're not going to have any ready-built walls. Okay, you're going to have to place everything that you want your base to be yourself. Now, having seen some people place grass and have a lot of problems with it because it will flicker if that overlaps at all, I wanted to show you kind of how to do grass. I do want to put that on a grid because it's much, much easier if you're putting it on a grid. And like I said, laying things here is just like laying it on the floor. So I would take a large grass plate, I would put that just on the ends of the plot. I'd probably get a lot closer so I can keep track of what I'm doing here. And I get another grass plate. That one might be off just a little bit. I see how it flickers. It's just really annoying. I get another grass plate, move out a little bit so I can. You grab grass plates in the middle, so it's really hard to get up close to the edges while your mouse has to be in the middle of it because it's so big. Different items have different grab points. You will find that out. It makes it a little bit challenging when you grab it where you think it's going to stay, and it jumps off, jumps around on you. But it's just one of the little things we deal with. So just line up these plates again on the grid setting so that they are right next to each other and they don't overlap. And when you are all done, you will have a whole horizon of nice grass. And then over that you can put like your hills and things like that, and they won't flicker. But this way you'll have it all covered and it won't flicker. So, and the same thing with water. Water is a little bit more difficult to line up, but also all these items when they're big can go off the grid. Only one square off the grid, like this, that's as far as it can go. Okay, so again, you can line up your water just like you lined up your grass, but warning, it is a little bit harder to line up exactly because it's thicker, so you can't really see the bottom edge. Make sure it's lined up exactly. It's wanting to flicker because there's no floor out there. So anyway, that gives you the idea, and you can have a little bit of a horizon there. Do note that the water does have depth, so if you're wanting something to go down to the water, this grass is going to have to come up if you want, there to be an edge to your shore and so forth. And then of course the grass is very very thin, very one-sided, so you might have to do something like put rocks there to make an actual edge or whatever. So that's just a little bit on populating your base with some materials here. And again, if you're going to have to build walls or cities or anything up here, you're going to have to bring each piece up yourself. There are no walls up here, but you don't have any walls on your horizon either. So those are some of the trade-offs for building above your base. Now, what if you want to say, I don't want to see any of this base plot, because if you go up, no matter what, how far, you can't go up that far. So when you look down, you're going to see your base no matter what color it is, no matter what you have on it. I know, I've tried. So the only thing you can really do is go down if you don't want to see your base, because if you go all the way down to the bottom of your plot, you will not see your base. And let me just show you. So I got my room section here. What I'm going to do is remove all that and apply it to the room, go back to the style, and do the high ceilings again, which go high ceilings, and put it back to open sky, which it's on that. Okay, so now when I go down, you see how my base is now hollow, alright? And as I go down farther, it actually disappears, and I just hit bottom. So this is as far down as you go, but you can't see the base above you. So if you want an open sky, this is the option, but the trade-off for this is base shift seems to be worse the farther away you are from the main base. And remember, again, I cannot build outside anywhere. I've got to build underneath those walls. So how do I do that? Because if I just go to place an item and I try to place a grass plate, it needs a floor, and there's no floor down here. So what I'm going to need to do is bring a floor down here, and to do that I'm going to have to be able to see my base again. There it is. Now what I'm going to do is go to nature, and I'm going to get the biggest thing we have, which are these large island rocks. There they are. Okay, so these huge island rocks, and the easiest thing to do to attach them first, because I want to attach to the floor, and they'll be above the floor, so I attach them to the ceiling, and now they're attached to the ceiling, so they drop down farther. And after that, I'm going to attach it to the surface. Okay, so I'm just gonna, and it's about 3 or 4 rocks down. So there's another rock, and I would have to drop down some more to see how far. Oh, I'm still pretty far away from the bottom, so I'm going to put another rock here. There we go. And now I'm going to drop down and see. Oh, that's it. I'm at the bottom. All right. So let's see. And you can run along the bottom and so forth. This is the absolute bottom. You can see it's just a little bit above absolute bottom. I don't really want to build on the absolute bottom. Just personal preference. I like to be able to get under things if I need to. So to see them or move them or get a good camera angle to be able to place something. So I'm going to put it a little bit above, and I'm going to hit surface here. And that looks far enough above. And now this other floor tile, I don't have to hit anything because it's oriented to attach to a floor, and that's a floor even if it's at an angle. Now the one that I'm attaching and it's oriented to the floor, notice it's level. Anything that orients to the floor will be level if you hit the floor settings. You don't have to worry about is it level or not. It's level. Now I can't see that because it's another one-sided polygon, so all I need to do is fly up, and there it is. There's my floor piece. So now that I have my floor, what I'm gonna do is just go to current room and get rid of all these other island rocks and so forth, and my other floor plate. I think I got rid of it, but I guess I did. So now that I have a floor plate, I can place items. If I want to place a grass plate, it's right there. And again, the grid setting is on, or else you would see this grass plate on top of the floor plate, but the grid makes it shift down a little bit. So now you can see that I can place a grass plate. Now, I don't know where I am because I can't see the base plot. The easiest way to figure out where the edges are is to push a grass plate, put it on the grass, and now sometimes you don't even have to hold control. Yeah, it's going to stay oriented to there. So that's as far as I can push it. That's the edge of the plot. Actually, that's past the edge of the plot. And see, yeah, that's as far as I can push it that way. And that's as far as I can push it that way. And If you see it disappear, that means you've gone too far. That's as far as it can go that way. So those are the edges of the plot. And if I want to keep placing grass so I have all the grass down here, then I would just, go over there, I might take a floor over there, and just start laying them down on the grid like I did up top. But here you don't have a nice floor pattern to help you arrange them. You just gotta look at the edges. Now, when you're placing things down here, you're usually gonna need to have a floor. And surfaces like grass plates are not floors. The editor does not recognize them as a floor. So if I want to, say, place a tree, I've got tree 6 here picked out, and you can see my mouse is over the edge of the plate. The tree isn't having it. The tree isn't going to get placed until I move over the floor. And then all of a sudden, hey, look, a tree. So if I'm doing that and I change the attachment to surface, I can place the tree. But again, if I move it to floor, even though I've already placed it, it's just going to disappear because I don't have a floor underneath it. As soon as I move over the floor, whoop, there it is again. Alright? So the floor is super, super important because most things come out wanting to attach to the floor, and it's really difficult to move and position things if you have them attached to a surface. So make sure you have floors around so you can place your items more easily. And remember, you're going to have to place everything that you are going to use for your base if you're building above or below your base. And you're going to have to use either the outdoor lighting system option under options, or you're going to have to sync lights into everything. See my lighting video for that. There are also some skies that do not have a day or night cycle. Check out my video on skies for that information. But that should be pretty much all you need to move. One more thing, you might be thinking, oh, well, it's nice that you have everything built down there, but how am I going to get to it? Because the entry is up top. So let me just show you what I do for that. I have my chat bar out. Where's my chat bar? There it is. So again, stuck will take me back to the base portal. Here we go. Now all I need to do, and I'm still in edit mode, so I don't have to reset anything, and you look down, you can see the grass squares from down here. Can't see them from below because they're one-sided polygons. So I'm going to hold my secret entrance here, and I'm going to click with my left mouse button. See, so I can move it. Where'd it go? Don't know where it went to. We'll just Control Z. I'm not sure. Yeah, clipping is on. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. I had put that off the plot. Alright. So I'm holding the left click, and I've got my flight on bind. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to drop while still holding the item. You see I get closer down here. See the box up here? I can just let it go. And if I type stuck again now I'm down here at the base portal. And my base is way up there somewhere in the sky. So that is how you move your base portal. And of course, if I need to get back to the entry room now, well, for that I'm going to have to exit the base editor, and that'll take me back to the entry. And if I have a sky, then I can fly out and do stuff up here. Maybe I don't have an open sky option on this one anymore. Looks like it. Oh, I'm not in edit mode. Ha! I'm sitting here thinking I was in edit mode. So if I would go back into edit mode, edit base 1, and it leaves me where I am for editing. Okay, so yeah, see, I had gotten rid of the base ceiling, which is the same as the base floor when you're on the top of it. So the base portal just kind of dropped through when I let go of it. So that's pretty much all you need to know. That should get you going for editing above and below your base. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for listening. Bye.